In every tradition, there are two kinds of students. Those who wait for a master to appear, and those who go out and find the one who will ignite them. Christian law speaks of Mary Magdalene, a woman who walked towards the teaching, not away from it. One who chose her path, her teacher, her awakening. My guest today belongs to that lineage. She left a lucrative job at a major production house, walked away from comfort and security, and came seeking a space where she could grow and become something truer than the world expected her to be. She found me, or perhaps we found each other, not as teacher and student, but as two women determined to work from the marrow, not from the mask. For 6 years, she stood shoulder to shoulder with me, not as an assistant, but as a soldier in the trenches. She learned not from lectures, but from storms, and from those rare, quiet moments when cinema stops being cinema and becomes life itself. From sourcing and labeling prop trunks, to guarding the set with a fighter's vigilance, to managing light boys with the command of a general. She claimed every inch of the world behind the camera. For her, no job was too big, no job was too small. Today she stands as a force in the entertainment world, an indispensable part of Dharma Productions. From being producer on the visual spectacle that was Brahmastra, to being co-producer of Homebound, India's official entry to the Oscars. She wishes me every year on Teacher's Day. But a teacher is fulfilled only when the student's light replaces the teacher's shadow. I honor and celebrate her today, not because she worked with me, but because she outgrew me, outdistanced me, and became her own blazing center. Nothing makes me more proud. So welcome to the Pooja Bhatt show, Miss Marijke Desouza. Or should I say, Ave Marijke?
Thank you. Those were very, very kind words.
They are very, very true words. I'll never forget that morning when all of us went to see Brahmastra first day, first show. And we were so excited to see your name on that big screen as producer. And then you arrived like a rock star at the end of the screening. And you called me, I remember, just before your first day from Bulgaria, to say that I'm embarking on the grandest journey of my life. And you were filled with anxiety. And I told you, if anyone can pull this off, it was you, and you did such a marvelous job. So should we start from the beginning or should we start from the end?
Always the beginning. I like to work linear. So beginning.
I have to thank Mr. Rajesh Punjabi.
Absolutely.
Who came to me one day and said, you're starting this company and I've got this girl who's working with a very renowned company. Meet her. And you said, hire me. So I said, but Marijke, you're working with a really successful, large company. Why do you want to quit that place and join me? I don't even know what my first film or my first show is going to be. You made it impossible for me to not hire you. And I told you that I don't even know what you're going to do. But you came in and started doing everything.
If I remember correctly, I said, I'll sit here and you'll automatically know that we have to do something because you'll have to see my face every morning. And you said, you're just going to come and sit here. I said, absolutely. And the next day I was there. And then you said, let's start meeting people to start some work. I said, and that's how we started with the show.
Yes, for Z TV.
For Z, correct.
Yes,
that
yes.
was the first.
Yes.
That was the first. That's how we started actually, and then obviously Sur.
Yeah, and then Sur happened.
Which
and
is like,
that was a time in the industry where there weren't too many women, but there were a lot of women on the sets of Sur. Thanks to Tanuja being the director.
Yes.
Kanchan, Mona darling.
Yeah, everybody.
And then you
me.
and me. I think we were maybe about 5 women, but it seemed like there were 50 women.
Correct. And poor Nirmal Jani, who was surrounded by all these women who were in charge of every department.
Yeah.
So every time he looked, there'd be a woman saying something and he'd be like, yeah, where have I reached?
And Mritika, of course. How could I forget
yeah.
Mritika?
It was my first film. I think there's so much romance in your first film.
True.
Everything was such a new experience. I was getting to learn so much. I'd never been on a film set before. I was with MTV, I was with Balaji, but I had not been on a film set. I was on television.
Right.
And for me, that was a big, eye-opener of how things run, of protocol, something that I'm almost obsessed with. And it was a magical experience. Tanuja being Tanuja and so passionate. And
absolutely.
You were doing production design as well as producing. And most importantly, my eyes open to production design.
Yes.
Something till date, no matter what I'm doing, I'm still redesigning people's homes and still asking if I can be a part of somebody's restaurant when they want to design it. And ready to help anybody and everybody when it comes to home decor. I'm obsessed with it still.
But you took to it like a duck to water,
yes.
I must say.
Yes.
And we used to go prop shopping.
Yes, I still can go prop shopping and I just don't know where to put it anymore. At least then I had a reason. We would put it on set. We would do something. Now I'm still prop shopping, Pooja. I'm still. It's an ailment that started 25 years ago.
Sur was an interesting turning point for you in more ways than one. Of course, you were working with me on production design and learning the ropes of even production. Our jobs never stopped where our designations did. I mean, I think the rule with us, because we had such tight budgets, was that if you can't do 3 people's job, you can't be on set. So you would do everything. You were acting in the film. Tanuja made you do some strange things during the song, I remember.
She did not make me do strange things. Automatically, I was giving strange shots. And till now, when I look at those shots that I gave, I just shake my head and say, how did Tanuja allow it?
So you acted in it.
Yes.
You were production design assistant. You were also doing a lot of production work. And you sang in the film. In fact, the beautiful hymn, Ave Maria.
That's correct.
We wanted this Latin hymn and you recorded with Cream.
Correct.
And all of us loved it. And Mr. Pritish Nandi, who was actually the presenter, producer of the film, he naturally felt that maybe we were cutting corners, bless him. And maybe we are trying to save money. And, Marijke works on production. How can she be singing? No, I insist that this is done with Sunidhi, who had sung the rest of the album. And we did try. But she had the grace to say that, no, this is not my space. And my father said, I remember, nobody will be able to sing it like Marijke because she understands not only the words, but she understands the reverence and the feeling required, because your background is that you sang in a choir in Bandra.
From the age of 3.
And we recorded with you in Chennai.
Yes, in Kodandabani Studios.
And you were sitting under, after the recording, this giant poster of Mohammad Rafi Saab. And you had this feeling of somebody who just run a marathon and you'd won it. I'll never forget that expression of yours. So that's how you began. And Ave Maria still remains one of my favorite hymns, and you sang it in church.
And I also had the honor and pleasure of being Cream's student. I still call him Guruji.
Yes.
He really gave me wings on that day, from the girl who sang in a choir in church and in competitions in Bandra, to somebody who was in a recording studio singing for a film. I got nominated that year for the best debut singer, and along with Shreya. And she went on stage and she also graciously, yet again, after Sunidhi was so sweet with me, said, this one's also for you, Marijke. And I could never forget that. So I have really been blessed with a lot of grace from other people. And I think that's very important that I carry that on.
But Cream loved you.
It still does.
Anybody who came in contact with you looked at you and said, what and who is this person? I mean, there is only one Marijke Desouza in the entire universe. And that will unfold as we go along. So we did Sur, then
Jism.
We did Jism. We were in Pondicherry together.
And I was supposed to sing and I bust my neck and back.
Yeah, you came to Pondicherry with this brace around your neck.
Yes.
One morning you came to me and said, Pooja, please tell John, not to dress like this and come down to the breakfast table because I get very distracted. And I saw John with sleep in his eyes wearing his boxer short looking like a Greek god. And you were like, can you please ask him to put some clothes on, please, because it's too distracting. And then we did Pop,
Yes.
where we went off to 16,000,
Spiti.
18,000 feet. That was a damn tough shoot. I
That
still have a
was
picture of you sitting on top of the Jeep in Spiti with your arms out like that.
Again, we were 3 women. Besides, there was just you, me, and Udita.
And her hairdresser. That's it.
Correct.
Yeah.
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 And
The rest were all men.
yeah. And I wanted to sob every single day because while we were in Spiti, that was not even remotely as developed as it is now. People would come to me and say, my door is not shutting. And I used to think, you should be happy just your door is not shutting because somebody's lung is shutting.
Correct.
You know, so can you count your blessings while we are here and not worry about your door?
That's true. And also you had to keep a track of what people were eating.
Yeah.
Because if you overate, then digestion became a problem and then you'd end up in hospital.
And every single person at some point felt the need to make sure that they did something that they were told not to do. It was like running kindergarten.
That is true.
Yes.
And then Rogue was a film where you took over the reins and you became the production manager.
Yeah.
Princely amount of 1 lakh of rupees.
What Rogue taught me was how to function and how to get into the producerial role of understanding that you can make things within budget if you are very clear about what you want and every department sticks to what they need to use and how they need to use the resources that have been allocated to them.
And also if every department works in sync.
Absolutely.
So we did work in a very transparent manner where we made this detailed budget and actually handed it out so everyone knew exactly what was being spent. So there was no feeling of that, hey, this department is making more than the other.
Yes.
And that's how we did it.
Absolutely.
And of course we had Eileen who came on and then we discovered...
Beautiful Eileen.
Yes, beautiful Eileen who we discovered was pregnant. Just before we shot the climax.
Yeah.
Oh God, so there was a lot of drama.
Yeah. I remember coming to you in the middle of some shot and saying, she's put on weight. And you said, why would you say such a thing? And I said, because I can see it. And so we went to ask her and she told you the next day that, listen, I'm pregnant. And
That's
I was
true.
like, wow.
And we didn't tell Tia.
Yeah.
And then Tia took you aside and said, listen, I'm not foolish. Letting out the clothes every day. Something is going on. And then we had to keep her in the loop.
Correct.
And by the time we shot the last photo shoot, she was in full bloom.
Yes.
And we had to conceal that.
Yeah.
So that iconic image of her sitting on the floor in front of Irfan, that really exalted him into this sexy beast mode.
Absolutely.
So you went from working with tight budgets, being head cook and bottle washer, into the world of dharma.
Actually, I took a bit of a break between both. I went into the world of advertising.
You produced your own ad
Yes, I
films.
produced ad films. I produced 4 other people. I line produced a Hungarian film in that time. And I'd met Karan in an ad film. And he asked me what I'm doing. And I was like, I'm doing ads. And so he asked me if I'd be interested. I took a beat and then we agreed to work on one project together. And that was 18 years ago. And 18 years later, I'm still at Dharma. In a very positive way.
And not just still at dharma, don't downplay it. You are an indispensable part of dharma.
I'm furniture. Everybody asks me, what do you do? I said, I'm furniture at Dharma Productions.
Well,
But I'm happy to be furniture at Dharma Productions. It's been a home for a really long time. And Apurva and Karan allow me to function the way I function best, which in turn gives us the results that we are looking for. So full credit to them for allowing me to do what I do best.
That's well put, because I think that it's important for people to know that why they're hiring somebody.
Yeah.
And I think that they've optimized your skills and given you a free rein to be able to do the things that you still love to do, even though you are fairly big boots, but you still don't hesitate to put your head into a patty.
I'm now learning that I shouldn't. Even until Brahmastra, I was still very deeply involved in each and everything, to the point of I wanted to know what time a car was leaving for which technician. Almost obsessive. And I realized that if one has to do 6 films at the same time. I cannot be doing that. I can look at the costs and ensure that we achieve our costs. And somebody recently said to me, it's easy to make a good film. It's very difficult to make a hit film.
Right.
And I have something to counter to that. It's very easy to make a film in budget. It's very difficult to make a film in budget and ensure that your director's vision is achieved.
True.
The scale is achieved, and you are not cringing when you see your film on the big screen saying, I wished I spent that extra money here and did not hold back because I don't like the way that looks or sounds.
Right.
And so my 2 bits to everybody who works with me, from the EPs to the line producers to everybody, is that don't just try to achieve a film in budget. You have to try and achieve somebody's vision and more in the money that's been allocated to you, because you won't get a pat on your back for
Saving
that money if it's not translated well on screen.
See, that's very well put. But when we were working, we had no option but to work with tiny budgets. But then we were also aware that when you put the film out there, people don't really care about that. So we had to make it look bigger.
And bizarrely enough, Pooja, budgets have on one hand scaled up hugely, but on some level, a lot of the films, the budgets are scaling down and going back. And everybody is pushing themselves to still achieve a certain look with much tighter budgets. And everybody's excited to do that. Nobody's actually throwing their hands up and saying, sorry, what do you mean after so many years now you want us to make much smaller budgets? No, people are enthusiastic to do it, and they're hungry to re-look at the way we're making things. And obviously, this has a lot to do with the introduction of so much content being available on platforms.
Right.
So even from a theatrical release perspective, you still have to now learn how to make films in a tighter budget, but still give it the scale it requires to be in cinema.
So you got to know what you must spend on.
Absolutely.
And like some things are non-negotiable. So you shouldn't even bother penny pinching in those areas.
Absolutely.
Where, according to you, is the wastage really happening? You're doing a multitude of projects.
Correct.
Which have different ranges in terms of the directors, the actors, where it's going, blah, blah, blah. At this point of time when things are genuinely tight in the industry, movies are not working, things are bad. Where do you think the problem really lies? And besides the actors taking away a bulk of it, or probably the entourage taking away a bulk of it, where are the areas you feel that we've gone lax? What can be tightened? What can be better?
I think there are a few areas that we all need to look at collectively. If what you're spending you can't see on screen, then don't spend it. It's very simple. It's actually quite simple. Cut down on the amount of crew.
Yeah.
The crew sizes have gone out of whack. You must understand, the more crew you have on set, there are costs that multiply because of that. You're paying more people. You have more mouths to feed. All your
and your pace,
overheads.
your pace goes
exactly.
slower.
So try and work with a tighter unit first.
Yeah.
Most importantly, we recently did 2 outdoors for like 2 or 3 days each, but with 25 people, and we've achieved it. It is definitely achievable, and you're getting great quality of work, but you need to go in with that vision, and you need to go in knowing that that's what you want to achieve, and you're going to attack it like that. I've seen on most sets about our starting numbers are 200.
Wow.
So then what happens is that as films scale up, you need even more people depending on the type of film you're making. If you really look at what you need and fight to say, no, actually we need to work with less people, you will bring down your costs. And everybody will push themselves to be more efficient in the way they work. Very often in some departments, there's somebody holding a tool for the next person, and I don't get it.
Yeah.
You need to really look and say, you don't need this, or we cannot afford it. So I constantly say this, you might require it, you might demand it, but we might not be able to give it to you.
To bring the crew size down.
Yeah.
Jean Renoir, the actor and filmmaker, said that more than associates on a set, you need conspirators. And if you have 300 people on a set, half of them are going to be people who look at the film as just another film. They cannot be conspirators.
Right.
So he says, I love shooting at night because half the people fall asleep and then I can get down to work and do things in the way I'm meant to be doing them. So I agree that if you have a heavier, larger beast, it takes more time for that beast to navigate this path that we are on right now. But how do you efficiently bring the crew size down? By getting more skilled people and paying them that much more?
I was just going to come to that. Actually, happy to pay people more. I believe everybody should grow. Why should they not grow?
Yeah.
It
So
should
lesser
be,
people, professionals, who are taking who are getting paid for 3 people, one person getting paid the price of 3 people.
Absolutely.
So then their output is greater.
much better. Also, production is such an undervalued job.
Yeah, it is.
So it's really tough for everybody. When I see our teams, and even when I was part of that team in my starting years, and even when I was on floor, it's easy if something goes wrong to just bring it down to, hey, it's the production's
fault.
But there's so much that goes on in the back that you don't realize that they are constantly pushing. They're the first people on set and the last people off set.
Absolutely.
So I'm constantly pushing all the teams to say, work together, work as a unit, and more importantly, please incentivize people. I truly believe in incentivizing people, because if they're going to take a hit on what they're making up front in order for us to make films in certain budgets, then if and when, obviously, it's done well, and we must be able to incentivize them.
That's
so
true.
Everybody feels growth. It's the most important thing. And luckily at Dharma, Apurva and Karan are both strong believers of the same thing. So then I have that backing.
But in the areas, for example, there's camera, there's lighting, there's action, there's now CG and special effects. And Brahmastra had a lot of CG and special effects, right?
Yeah.
What are the areas that you think have gone out of control? Not personal. It's an important element. The cost per day on hair and makeup, for example, are going through the roof. How do you explain a makeup artist making more than a DOP or making more than an actor in certain cases?
Honestly, I've never been in that position.
No?
I've never been in that position where any makeup artist has made more than the DOP or the actor. We've never had this situation. So
Well, that's good then.
Never had the situation where they're more than the DOP or the actor. They're definitely more than a lot of other departments. And also we're trying to rein that in and work with them to understand how to make it efficient for them. But I can't remember a single time where they're more expensive than my DOP or actor.
Well, that's good to know. And what about entourage costs? People have large teams when they come on?
Some do come with large teams, but again, I was having this discussion with somebody recently and I feel very blessed. When you speak to an actor, and whichever actor I've spoken to, at least till date, they're very happy to pick up the costs of their extended entourage.
But is that because it's your...
I couldn't comment on that because I don't think it's fair for me to comment on anybody else or how it works anywhere else. Whenever we've worked, and we're talking about top actors and actresses, they've been very easy with me. They've understood our perspective and they're like, okay, no problem, we'd pay for it. So for me, I'm feeling like everybody is working with the same mindset to make the film where the money actually goes into the film. And I guess it's also whether you approach them and have this conversation.
Yeah.
Sit with them, talk to them.
Explain to them.
I've never had a situation where somebody says, I don't care.
I took a break from acting for 21 years. And what struck me when I came back on set was there are a lot of people.
Yeah, there are a lot of people.
Earlier, our teams were leaner. It was more intimate somehow. So even if you look at the assistant directors, they're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 sometimes, and 10 production people. And it's quite chaotic.
15 spot boys. That's my pet peeve. Because when you go overseas and shoot, everybody takes their own water. They do everything. So I'm pushing for that to translate onto our sets in India.
The craft service. You started that
I
on the sets of Rogue,
Yeah.
where you said, here's a coffee machine, a tea machine, go and get it yourself.
I still say it. I go on set or even to the office with my own coffee, with most of my own things in my own dabba. It's who I am, and it's what I push and believe in.
Yeah.
I feel that if you can do that when you travel and film elsewhere with foreign crews, you should be able to do it in your own country.
That is true. I don't know why we become lazier and less efficient when we come back home.
I think it's our social setting.
Hmm.
When you work overseas and people don't do that, you think twice before demanding. And plus, we don't have that many spot boys traveling overseas. So it's not possible either.
So you hire people locally?
No, we don't. There is no concept of spot boys overseas.
Right.
They set up the food truck or the craft service, and everybody knows where to go and get a cup of coffee or to
When
get
they
their
want
water. There's water freely available on all sets. We shot for months in Bulgaria, and everybody reached the truck and got everything themselves. And that was a huge shoot. And we had 2 spot boys. I was so excited.
Yeah, I used to go and do a head count with
Always
with the lighting
obsessed,
department.
yeah.
I remember the
Yeah.
sets of Rogue.
Yeah.
That, you built me for 13 people, but only 11 are here today.
I'm still obsessed with checking everything as much as people don't realize I'm checking, but I'm still checking. I love sitting in BVA meetings, budget versus actuals. I love looking at daily reports. It's my jam because I'm then, what equipment did you actually use? Oh, this is what you did. Oh, I read it religiously. I wait for those reports to pop up in my phone. And
Why-
people don't realize that I'm reading them. So very often when I ask them a question, they often look at me like, how do you know this? Like it's in the report.
But when you're hiring a production assistant or an EP, what is your first brief to them?
I don't hire production assistants.
Okay.
But very often people say, can you meet this person and guide them? And then I ask them, why is it that you want to the production? And then I put them onto one of our executive producers. And the first thing I tell them, this is a thankless job.
Yeah.
And no job is, too big or too little. And you have to learn to swim. You're going to be thrown into a deep sea. You'll be provided a float once or twice, but then beyond that, you're going to have to learn to swim. And then their interaction with me is done. But the people I interact with the most are the executive producers. One of them had actually been an assistant of mine once, and the other one was already in the company, and another guy joined as an executive producer. So 2 have worked their way up with me, and the other 2 were already there. All of them work with the similar mindset. I'm obsessed with people being honest, loyal, and coming in with the attitude that we're here to solve the problem. So we have to find the solution. And again, blessed to work with people who have similar mindsets, hardworking, and pushing for the same things I'm pushing for. So eventually, because we're all working together and collaborating together, we're achieving our goals. And for me, that is not just growth for them, that's growth for me.
Yeah.
And then everybody is happy because we get to make sure that they're well taken care of.
What I find fascinating about our business is how we all come together on a project and you form these gypsy families and you work so intensely. It's like, remember you and Ankur?
Yes.
I said, you have to share the room.
Yeah, I remember.
You were like, I can't share the room with him. He's too messy. And then you all formed this beautiful, unlikely friendship that is bloomed into, I think
He's one of
he's
my
family
best
to you today.
friends, family, human beings.
Yeah, and he still looks at you and says, Pooja, she's going to control this also now. Now she's going to try to fix this also. And then you tell me that you created a monster because he's like, why is this bottle 1 inch off?
Yeah.
So he's also got his quirks. So I think that's what's so magical about our business, because we're thrown together
Absolutely.
into the deep sea and we have a common goal. And I think the people who come together with that think that, listen, it's all of us together who are going to make it, or none of us are going to make it.
No, absolutely. Because how can you only look out for your growth without other people's growth?
Yeah. But then a lot of sets, there's no coordination between departments and it becomes a production department against the direction department and then the film suffers.
Yeah, but that's an old problem that I hope we will get rid of. But I see our teams working together. I see our teams covering up for each other now, which is a good sign actually. It makes me happy because they've got each other's back. And that means the film will benefit from that.
Correct.
And everybody is working hard, everybody wants to prove themselves, and everybody wants to grow.
Yeah.
And the only way a company grows is if everybody else is growing. So
True, but there are a lot of people who look at it from the outside and think it's a really glamorous job.
absolutely
So
not.
It's backbreaking.
Yes.
You're on call 24/7.
Absolutely. Now I've streamlined it a lot, but there were years when I was sleeping 3 hours. My phone was constantly ringing. There was a crisis always.
It's firefighting
It was,
constantly.
yeah, and it was always a moment of life and death. It's life and death. You attach a lot of negativity when you start to feel that, oh my God, this is a life and death situation. I have to deal with it. And bizarrely enough, when I lost my parents, I realized that's actually death.
Right.
That is what death is. And there are going to be problems on sets, and so many people are working together, so many things to achieve. Your budgets don't match your vision. I always treated everything as life and death, and now I'm like, hello, no, absolutely not. There is death. I've kind of felt that firsthand with both my parents. And for me, that I learned you got to work and you got to make it work, but it cannot be the end of your life.
I agree. But I want to come to the glorious love story that you saw playing out at home with your parents, with Yolande and Sabino. 58 years they would have celebrated together.
Yes.
But before I come to that, I just want to ask you that what is the difference you see when you came to me, for example? You were very young. But
I
you
was
had
21.
Exactly. But you were wise beyond your years and you were unafraid with regards to hard labor, work. You had no fear. When you look at the generation today, while they are sharper, smarter in many ways, do you think that the work ethic is lacking sometimes? Do you have to push them harder? So what is the difference between a 21-year-old you might meet today and the 21-year-old I met in Fisheye Network, which was in the former Marijke? I mean, first of all, there's only one Marijke Desouza. But what is the difference you see?
Privilege.
Privilege.
That's the difference. And privilege is in every economic status in the country. It's not privilege necessarily monetarily. It's not privilege of having rich parents. It's the mental privilege of being able to say, you know what, I don't feel like doing this.
Interesting.
We always associate privilege with wealth.
Correct.
We're all privileged. Everybody's privileged. We've worked for our privilege. They come with a sense of privilege. Irrespective if their parents are breaking their backs to have got them through college, school, film school, they come with a certain sense of that's the least their parents could do. Or,
Right.
you know, they don't seem to understand that they've been graced with that. I've even interacted with children of office peons, and I know their parents have worked so hard and now they have to work somewhere and get a job, and they don't hold on to their job with the sense of fear that if they don't perform, how will they make ends meet?
Correct.
That for me is what I see very often. But like you also said, they are very smart. They are way smarter than we could be at our times, because I felt that we were hustling. They are
Right.
not hustling.
Right.
They've calculated the situation because they've been exposed to so much more than we were.
Yeah, that's true. But also, you worked with people in areas of acting, in other areas as well, people from within the industry, and rank outsiders in that sense.
Right.
We had this discussion long back, and you made a very interesting point. You said the advantage of working with somebody who's an insider is that there's certain ground rules you don't have to teach them.
Absolutely. Honestly, I don't get the concept of outsider, insider. I don't mean to offend anybody, but I don't get it. I was an outsider.
Yeah, Bandra girl who
Yeah.
sang in a choir,
Right.
but had a dream.
I had a dream.
And
I
look at you now.
I made my way inside.
Absolutely.
I worked for my way inside. I continue to work for my way. Nobody gave me work or positions or responsibilities based on my family or where I came from. They gave it to me based on the work I'm performing.
Your output, absolutely.
At our organization, that's really how it functions. It's based on what you deliver.
Yeah.
Nobody's getting an opportunity because they're anybody's friend,
Or child.
uncle, child.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, for time immemorial, people always made connections, right? So is everybody should be then a product of nepotism, if that is the
correct.
If that's
networking
how
it was called.
It was networking.
Correct.
And somebody knew somebody and say, why don't you go and meet them and see if they can give you a job? So I don't understand it. If you have to work, and I'm not saying there are people who are not worthy and have not been given the opportunity. That is what life has in store. When it clicks, it clicks.
Yeah.
And you get in and you move on. But you got to respect what you got.
True.
I very often find that working with children whose family has been in the industry, I find them very easy.
Right,
you know,
right, because they understand and respect the process.
They've been on set, they've been ADs at points, they've even probably seen how it works. So I find them actually very easy. But then I'm also in a place, in a position where I find interacting with everybody easy. So whether you're an outsider or an insider, I'm still having a very real, easy discussion because I kind of only stick to what I need to, right? I'm here to talk to you about work.
Right.
I'm not here to actually hang out with you at home and have a drink. I'm here to do work, and I kind of always want to stick to that. So that makes my conversations with most people very to the point.
And also I feel that people don't give star children or children of technicians, the people who have been in the business, enough credit for is that they've seen their parent, their grandparent, somebody in the family endure many highs and lows. So they understand from close quarters that it's not the easiest business. And if you don't deliver, like you rightly said, in any area, whether you're a production assistant, whether you are a DOP,
if you're an
you're going to be
accountant
shown
as
the
well.
door. You're just going to be shown the door. But I want to take you back to December 2nd, 2022, when you lost your father and life changed. Your mother and father had this romance that was legendary. I'll never forget the sight of them walking in Bandra. She always 2 paces ahead of him. Used to go to church. I
Every
remember him in
morning,
his suit. And she was always beautifully dressed, piano teacher. And then March 29th, you lost her.
Yeah, 3 months later.
Losing one parent is something, Marijke, but you and your brother is what you all had to go through. It was difficult for us to watch and experience. You attempted to bury yourself in work and some travel, but then you realized that the only way to go through this is to go through it.
Yes. When my dad passed, I kind of knew it was coming. Thought it would be 6 months later. And also, my dad used to keep us on our toes. As I popularly called him Dadu, we called him, all the kids. Dadu would every 6 months have some episode that he would land up in hospital. For the last 5 years of his life, he would land up at the hospital, and we would call it a spa retreat, because 3 days later he would be out and he'd be fitter than before and keeping us all alert and having a good laugh. So we realized that he was nearing 90 and he really wanted to make it to 90. We said, we hope he makes it, And when he passed, I remember I was in Disney office and I got a call and I rushed home and he had already passed. And we actually celebrated that day, if you remember. We had the funeral in 2 days and we celebrated his life, and we had a party just because we felt that he led a very good life. But on that day, I saw my mother, who was very alert, fit, full of life, gone through so much, taking care of my dad, but still always being positive and upbeat. She also survived cancer. So we saw her kind of wilt. I thought, okay, she's upset her husband has just passed. And I said to her, he lived a good life and, you should not be so upset. I understand it's your husband, but you should celebrate. And she was blank.
Yeah.
She was absolutely blank when she looked at me. And 15 days later, she started settling all her house papers, any jewelry that she owned, gave away her clothes. this was around December 24th. It was just before Christmas. And I said, what are you doing? It's not even 2 weeks,
Yeah.
Why are you doing all of this? And she said, it's done. I'm done. And I said, what are you talking? I think you're getting into deep depression. And why are you rushing to get all the house papers sorted? And she called for a lawyer. And shared everything 4 ways. We're 4 kids. And she wanted to make sure she did it right. I said, okay, we let her do that. And then when she started giving away her clothes, I said, what's your plan? You're not going to wear clothes. You're keeping only house clothes. I don't need it. I'm not going anywhere. So I said, why are you talking like this? And give it a little while and you'll feel better. Stop doing this. And Christmas passed and New Year's, post New Year, I left. I went out of town for a few days. And when I went out in the first week of Jan, my brother said that she's given away everything. And I was so confused. I said, what is up with her? Why would she do that? I came back. I tried to talk to her. I said, you must get some help. I understand you're very shaken up. But she kept saying to me that I don't need to go anywhere. And it's done. And I couldn't understand it. A week after I returned, she complained of excruciating pain in her back. She was bedridden. And she just gave up. She actually gave up. I had never seen a human being give up in my life. And definitely not my mother, who held this family together. It was, she never complained of any ailments, never complained about anything, always positive, full of prayer. Everybody who had every problem would reach out to her. And I just saw her shut down, just shut down. She consciously shut down. And I was leaving for a recce of Brahmastra. And I always went to her house and said bye to her before every flight. And on the way back in, again went to her. I did that with my parents from the day I left their home. I never went on a flight before, even if it was for a day, without going to their home, saying bye, and on the way in, saying hi. And I went to her and she said to me, I'm so sorry if there's anything I've done in this lifetime that was not right for you, or and I hope I was the best mother. And I was shattered, honestly. And I looked at her and I said, why are you talking to me like this? You are going to get better. We couldn't figure out what was wrong. It was the cancer back. And how could it be? Because a month prior we had done a scan and she was still cancer-free. And I came back. She was still unwell. I had to go for a shoot. We were shooting. And it was my birthday. And she said, don't go. And I said to my mom, I said, no. You've never told me not to go to work. She said, maybe this time don't go. And I said, I have to go. And I left. And she wished me on my birthday online, sang for me. And the next day she got a spasm and she went into a coma, where she was not yet going into it, but kind of a spasm. And I flew back instantly. I met her and she said, take care of yourself. And she slipped into a coma and she passed 4 days later. That period, that time and that week taught me more than all of life could teach me. That there is never the right moment to know what your parents are saying to you.
Yeah.
And grab all the time you can with them. And I did.
Yeah.
So if there's one thing I look back and say that all the time I could get, I gave to them. And so did all my brothers. We were there, we took care of them till their very last breath. And because they gave us everything we ever wanted. And more importantly, they were there for us. And that was the least we could do. But to watch her go so quickly, if anybody knows me, knows that I'm obsessed with my mother till date.
Yeah.
And to watch her go, I think that just, it it broke me. It broke me, it changed me. And there's not a day I don't miss her and him.
And it's ironical. It's like she went to him.
Yeah, she ran to him.
She
didn't
ran
went.
to him, yeah.
She ran to him, like ran.
Yeah.
In fact, recently, about 2 months ago, they were in temporary graves, so we excavated their remains and we cremated it and put them in an urn together and put them in a niche. And I said, wow, you know. And even when they were buried about 2 graves apart.
Yeah.
So I used to laugh that my dad made sure she was right there. My dad was obsessed with my mom. He always was. His whole life revolved around her. And I thought that, you know, she was okay on her own. And she always presented that to us, right? And you also watch your parents go through so many years and you definitely see them bicker but you don't realize that the bond that they share is something only they understand.
That's true. That's
and
true.
You judge your parents' fights from your perspective.
Correct.
But for them, it was just a fight. For us, it was, oh my God, it was a fight. And at no cost would they let each other go. And even in the end, as much as they bickered, and I was like, oh, now she'll move more freely because she was at home a lot for him. I said, okay, now she'll travel again. But that was not her plan. Her plan was like, I stayed here with him. I'm going with him.
Yeah, but you traveled with her. You took her to her favorite places. Sound of Music was her favorite
absolutely.
film.
Her favorite film is Sound of Music. She went to Austria and she sang on the hills there. She was so happy. And when my mom passed, I went back the next year and I recreated that whole trail on
Beautiful.
her birthday. Yeah, just to, like, if she was watching me from somewhere so she could see it.
And now you find that you are becoming more and more like your father in terms of your
Yes.
your behavior patterns, the way you dress.
Yes.
You have just morphed into your father.
Yes, that's so true. For all the years that I had, as you know, I had a very tough relationship with my father, but maybe because I could not understand him, and I managed to solve that in the last year before he passed. But oh my God, Pooja, right now I understand him more than anybody could have understood him. And I say to myself so much, why didn't I just see it?
Yeah.
You know, why didn't...
You've mentioned this to me.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm like him. I don't want to go anywhere. I want to sit at home with my shorts and my ganji.
You know, how I used to crib to him and say, you don't want to do anything when you come from work. You just want to sit at home and you don't want to go out. And trust me, I feel him and I understand that more than anything in the world. There's no better feeling than going home, sitting in your boxers and being with your family and eating a meal at home. It beats any meal out. And also,
absolutely,
you know, I get good food at home. So
that is true. But I mean, you were the youngest, 3 brothers.
Absolutely.
Each very unique personalities, to put it mildly.
Unique.
And you were the youngest and the only girl in the family. And so there was quite an age gap between you and your parents as well.
Yes, I was a mistake. You know,
you were a good mistake, though.
I was a mistake. And I was born after 3 boys in my immediate family and 18 boys in my mother's side. Yeah. Not 18, 12 boys on my mother's side. And because the previous girl that was born my mom's side used to live in London. So I was born after a lot of boys in the family. And they were so excited that, you know, I was born. And my brothers, sweet, kind brothers, most of the time, except when I'm fighting with them. They were lumbered with this girl who wanted to play everything with them, but they didn't want, you know. So yeah, I tortured them.
Your family is amazing. The sense of kinship you all have, it's just beautiful to see. See, and that's what strikes me about you, Marijke. I mean, you're a Bandra girl.
Absolutely.
You will always be, even though you live in Juhu now and you have your own home, which is amazing. But
I still shuttle to Bandra.
At heart, you're a Bandra girl always. And the fact that you're so immersed in the Indian film industry and such an integral part of it, such an integral part of Dharma, and commands so much of respect wherever I talk about you, people say, Marika. And that makes me very happy. But you have always had a very rich life beyond films and cinema. You love the movies, but you love your friendships, life, travel, and there's nothing filmy about you, and there never will be in 500 lifetimes in that sense. And I think it's that balance which allows you to come onto the set and then look at it in this manner which is not tainted, because you've immersed yourself in so many areas, whether it's your travels to New York and, your friendships that you have in bars there and people you met across the world, your quirks, your likes, going off to, to have orange juice in Malta, for example, and all of that. Your love for food.
While I did make a lot of the friendships at work, a lot of my closest friends, I've made Thea,
Yes.
Varsha,
Ankur. Yes.
They're all people that I've
met on a film
set. But we're all part of groups
Yeah.
who are filled with people who are doing Dia. Dia also is a very close friend of mine. And we're all part of groups that are a mixed bag.
Yeah, totally mixed bag.
They're complete mixed bag. So there's a lot of fun actually, because there's so much more that we want to do or that we're invested in doing that steps outside films. I love to travel.
Yeah.
And I have a partner who loves to eat, as
And
I love
cooks
to eat,
beautifully.
and cooks beautifully. And so we travel to places to eat. Many people travel to places to show off where they've been, but
Yeah.
we want to show what we've eaten. And now more often than not, I don't even care about that to show anybody. We love to travel and eat. That is really the only place that I'm happy to leave my home for. And I know that if I go to my friends' homes, I can still go in my boxers because now they're used to me.
Yeah, totally.
Right? For me, that's the most important thing, having these friendships. These friendships are all 20 years and more.
Yeah, and they nurture you and you nurture
And
them.
they've been there. They've
True.
been there with me. They're all my rocks. There's not a single one. I would say I have 21 really close friends. And everybody says, how can you have so many I have 21 really close friends.
True.
And we're very involved in each other's lives. We're constantly meeting, figuring things out. And we have games night. So there's so much more to do. And while I love where I work and I love the people I work with, and I do socialize with them sometimes, but it's work.
Yeah.
And these are my friends, so I can sleep on a couch while they talk, because I haven't changed, by the way.
Which you love to do.
Yes,
you love that. Like,
Yeah.
keep talking,
Yeah.
but I'm just snoozing.
Yeah, I love to sleep. I can stay awake, and then the minute I've had my food, I'm ready to crash. And so that's where I can be me. So for me, that is really it. And I like to do different things.
In the last 2 months, you were in Russia, you were in Marrakesh. Where else?
In
Please?
New York.
Yeah, a couple of times. And then you also went to London. So you spend a lot of time on a plane now.
Only the last few months. That's because we were traveling with the film. And also, I like to travel at least twice a year personally. So I make sure that happens, because I believe that's the only luxury that one needs.
What is one of the trips that have really...
Japan.
Japan you loved? Because you love their sense of efficiency and grace, I'm sure.
Absolutely. They are so efficient and they're silent, and things run on time, and they're economical, and their food is amazing.
True.
And the place is clean, so my OCD is intact. It's all good. People follow signs, they follow rules. I love it when people follow rules. Like they're made for a reason. Can you please follow them?
Yeah.
And nobody
That's
would
true.
have guessed that was the person I would become. They thought that I would be a rebel, I would, be a pain. But I am.
No, but you are a rebel, and I think
in
that,
a different way.
Yeah, but the thing is that you have to first learn the rules and follow them to break them.
Yeah. So
You'll always be a rebel.
Yeah, but
But
still,
now you're a rebel with a cause, with many causes.
Yeah. So I like things when everybody's following patterns, and you must just follow it quietly without trying to mess it up.
Wonderful. So you're going to soon be walking on the red carpet at the Oscars.
Really?
I mean, yeah. I mean, we've been walking on many red carpets, and you very reluctantly, I've noticed, take the spotlight or take your space. And of course, you made that wonderful film called Sheer Korma with Faraz, which won, my last count was 56 awards, but you corrected me and said it's about 75 plus.
Yes. But then if we count all the awards, it could cross 90, but then we can't count an award that's in every part of Bombay, because I don't think that would be...
But it's still an award.
Yeah, but that is not the right thing to do. It seems like we're glorifying ourselves for no reason.
But you made that film that you believed in, bankrolled it yourself.
Yes.
And that was a leap of faith.
Because honestly, I wanted to also make something that I believed in.
Correct.
I do believe in the films that I make at Dharma, but I'm talking about with my own money. I wanted to put my money where my mouth was.
Absolutely.
And I felt that Faraz was making something that spoke to me.
Correct.
And I felt a sense of responsibility to making sure his film got made, our film got made, their film got made as well. And I did that. I did it with no intention of making money of it. I did it because I just wanted it to be made.
Correct. The intention was pure.
Correct.
You had the Bombay premiere at the Kashish Festival.
Yes.
And it's so rare when your insides are aligned so completely with the work that you put out there. And there was that confidence that I've put a gem of a film in front of you. This is my gift to the audience. 75 plus awards is not something that you just write off. It's quite amazing.
It was a beautiful short film. It reached loads of people that it needed to connect with, and I wanted people to see what Faraz was capable of doing.
Yeah.
I felt that they could make a film a certain way with a certain amount of tenderness that it required.
No, absolutely, and great dignity. So, bravo.
Thank you.
Yet again. So we're in the new year, and I'm happy I've begun my year with you. What does 2026 have in store?
Quite a few films, obviously. Yeah. But honestly, I don't approach each year with this is what I'm going to achieve in this year, because I used to do it in the past and it did not pan out. So I just believe in approaching it with like, okay.
Yeah, so let life happen to you.
Bring on what you got to, what's going to come my way.
Like your mother's favorite song, which was
Ke Sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future is not ours to see. So I'm ready for 2026 and hoping it's splendid. Yeah, it's going to be beautiful.
It will be. Now you have to sing us Ke Sera.
No. Oh my God. Okay, I'll try. Que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera.
Beautiful. I can't think of a better way to begin the year and to end this episode. So thank you, Marijke Desouza.
Thank you.
I love you dearly, and I'm so proud of you, and more power to you. And I'm certain that you will not only face life headlong, but you're going to kick it where it hurts when necessary.
And I think I need to thank you. I need to thank you for allowing me to sit in that seat and for finding my place. You taught me so much. I can never actually put in words what you taught me, because had you not given me that confidence that I could go out there and achieve something, I would not have pushed myself as much. And you exposed me to a world that I had no eyes on prior to that. So I will always be grateful to you, truly.
Thank you. So then I can now say that for whatever it's worth, my life is a life well lived if I have contributed that much to somebody who is as magical as you are.
Thank you.
I love you. Thank you.
Thank you.
The Pooja Bhatt Show is produced by Mammoth Media Asia and Epilogue Entertainment and distributed by iHeart Podcasts. The executive producer is Jonathan Strickland.